Hi, you guys. I I tried to turn on. There's a light behind me. I don't even know. Little tiny light. Anyway, trust me, little tiny light behind me. I was trying to turn on, and the bulb was dead. Well, in the last maybe day or two, like 4 light bulbs have busted, and it's probably because I somehow got them all going at the same time, and they've run their course. But I just find that a little, ooh, that's a little strange. So that had me cracking up. Yeah. I wanted to talk about a little bit about divination, just as a thing, and same root meaning as divine, and but I think what it describes methods where the individual can, converse with the one, the one who knows, without the intermediary of a church hierarchy. There is usually an intermediary, unless you experience visions and things that just come to you. But even those are they're mediated by the vision. But anyways, usually there are cards or tea leaves or runes or dowsing or any number of things like that just provide this sort of channel for the thing to come through, including people who channel, of course. But divination kind of got in that sense of the person reading the bones or the tea leaves or whatever it was, and saying this is what's going on in our lives. I think that at various times in history, the established religion, be it the church or whatever hierarchical kind of the religion in power that would be threatened by the idea that everybody has access. You don't need to come inside my building and tithe me. Although tithe would be greatly appreciated. Oh my God. But that you can do, it isn't in a building. It isn't something that you buy your way into. It's a direct relationship with, the overeye, the almighty, whatever you want to call it, that thing that connects us all, and that we all participate in by whatever name. But there was a time where that was threatening to folks who wanted to say, no, it's through me and only me. You can't do that. You don't have the hat. You don't have the outfit. You don't have the credentials. You don't have the, so, I'm all in favor of divination. I like it a lot. And I'm not even entirely sure why, but I think it's that, it's all about the question. It starts with the question. In some cases like dowsing, it's an actual yes or no, or maybe kind of an answer based on the pendulum. But it seems to me it's always in pursuit of a question. And the quest, the epic quest. The question isn't a little, it doesn't have to be a little thing. Even one of the big questions. I don't know why the air quotes for that. So, Light bulbs? Big question. Oh, and just before this, Rue visited, and she likes to sit in the bathroom sink and drink from the faucet. I mean, people who have cats will understand how this goes, but you know, you give her a bowl of water, it can sit there untouched till the end of time. She wants running water. You know, she's an animal who can appreciate it needs to be fresh. And you know, something, but so the drip is always on in the sink, and she'll go in and sit and block the drain. So she ends up just sopped because, and then she comes in, and I've just shuffled and tried to get the table ready, and she'll, you know, so there's rather a lot of splash all over the place. Now she's happy. So, divination, or even just the idea of the intermediary, you know, what the mediated experience is like versus the less I mean, it's always mediated a little bit by your senses or your something. What's trying to get through? That's a big question. What are we a channel for today? What are we tuning into? Page of Pentacles. This fellow appeared in the last reading. It's an offer, it's a tangible offer. An earth energy, something stable, not something big, but the proposition. It's like a proposition. And it's, you know, I like this depiction because this character is standing on one leg, and yet grounded. I mean, their other foot like disappears into the tree stump. Yeah, grounded. We're getting the exact same cards, and I just shuffled like a mofo. Anyway, here we go again. We got the offer, we got the anxiety. Appears to me now that the one who's making the offer or is perhaps about to make the offer, or has made the offer and is now very anxious about what's the response going to be. It was a concrete offer, Pentacles offer, tangible, real. But this reaction, this is a sword energy. This is about something that happens in somebody's head. It's high stress. Could be also that the person who receives the offer is like highly stressed. Lovers. Well, it does mean a choice. Let's just get that. And I always say it's choosing each other, but maybe not. We'll see what the context is. But this is the twin. This is the yin to your yang, the yang to your yin. You know, this is like your match. The person who you bring each other into balance somehow. You're whole separately, but you fit rather nicely to make another whole. That sounds, you know what I mean, okay? And somebody's planning something, trying to make a decision. Well, that echoes this, the business of choice. And it's a choice in Wands energy, like which way do I go? You know, what do I, it's a decision to do with direction, to do with what am I inspired to do? You know, my intuition is talking to me, and I'm going to sit here. This person is not jumping around doing the thing yet. They're at the portal, they're at the threshold of that, with the globe, the sort of map, some kind of plan, and it's in its planning stage. So we get sort of decision in the planning stage. The moon. It's a water energy. It's an energy of things that aren't fully conscious yet. Haven't come to full, you know, they're coming, but they're not quite there. So there's this feeling of like something, you know, it's the deep dive. It's to do with deep feelings that we can get so submerged in, you know, because the moon can also be a fearful energy. I think it's sort of like a feeling so deep you could drown in it. It's a wonderful poem, and damn, I'm going to have to start memorizing at least the author and the title. And I can't get it back. But it's sort of like you could drown, but you're not going to. Not this time. But there is that sense of feeling something so deeply that it's scary, and it's sort of almost like you lose your sense of self or something like that. And it almost says to me like this mapping aspect of this. You know, I want to make a map. I want to know where I'm going, and I think it's sort of like you're going into the land of the deep feelings, and you want some kind of map, intuitive map that will help you navigate it. You're preparing. You're preparing for the road trip into the land of. It's moon card signifies, you know, the unknown, in the sense of not quite conscious yet, and also in the sense of, you know, unknown territory that could be scary or daunting somehow. And I want to be able to plan for this. I'm planning for it. Sorry, I'm. Moon lovers, where do they intersect? Queen of Swords. I mean, and look at her, she's steering in this image, she's steering the boat. She's got the rudder in her hands. It's a sword, but it sure looks to me like a rudder on a boat. The wind is blowing, the flags are blowing. So in terms of direction, Queen of Swords is known for truth-telling, clarity. You know, doesn't suffer fools and doesn't want to deceive herself either. You know, and she has a really very good shit detector. Not afraid to use it. She's an intellectual energy. She's all about discerning truth from, you know, the facsimile of truth. So it's an interesting balance here, because it's this discerning kind of almost I don't want to say quite analytical, because that's not right, but it's a clarity coming to a situation that's not quite conscious yet. So they're a little bit like, you may be going into this swimming, watery realm in which you could almost lose yourself, but you've mapped it out to the point where your Queen of Swords brain, sword energy is about clarity and smarts and truth and discerning what's true. True north. She's navigating by her true north. And it's interesting that I keep getting the image of the ocean, and the moon is all about the ocean. Part of this would suggest she's up in the sky, but in any case, that's what I see. So she's bringing clarity to something that's just coming to consciousness. And I think it also will inform of the decision. I say she, it could be he, it could be they, it could be whoever it is, you can fill in the gap. But there's preparation involved, which I think is interesting. So the offer, the anxiety, some sort of decision around love and connection has been made, lovers, which brings our character to the next decision. What do I do next? I've made a choice. I've made an offer. I don't quite understand why it's such a little offer. If it's so tiny, why is there this tremendous anxiety? And maybe it's because the choice, yes or no, to this connection, the offer's small, but somebody's really invested to the point where they're very stressed to see two cards of choice. Queen of Swords is decisive. So it seems to me the outlier in this is Nine of Swords. All the other cards are about making an offer, making a big connection, making a choice that you're preparing to do, and doing the deep dive to get your sense of direction. And you're Queen of Swords. But there's this, in your own energy, Queen, some kind of, you might be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, not necessarily. This is another card of Gemini. So it is sort of tilting a little bit toward Gemini. But in your energy, there's this anxiety. Queen of Swords, Nine of Swords. And maybe because it's actually making a for real investment, whereas before it may have been more like an abstract connection, maybe even. And now that it's coming into 3D, there's anxiety around that. Maybe we shouldn't have done, maybe we should have just seen each other on the astral plane. Leave it to that. This can be a card of walking away from something. It can also be a card, I always say this, and I know it's sort of obnoxious, but it's also a card of walking towards something. And I think the other day, I think it was yesterday in a reading, I said something about, is love enough to pull you in that direction? You know, this is walking the path of the heart. Where does that lead? Where does that lead? Will I follow that? And it's on Two of Wands, getting my sense of direction, making plans to do it, to go. There's also a little VW buzz down in the corner. I mean, it's like hitting the road. And I think it's the pull of, you know, a spiritual path that's the pull of love. So it's not necessarily to another person, although lovers on the board would incline me to think that's what it is. Okay, can you tell us about the moon, the mystery, the dreamy thing, the as yet not fully conscious thing? Thank you. Okay, Seven of Wands. The depiction of Seven of Wands on this card is pretty different from traditional Rider-Waite, but in a sense, no. Rider-Waite shows the guy with the wand sort of holding it up defensively and seven coming at him. And we have the same here, the seven things coming at this person, and they're in a protective bubble. But they're in like a prayer pose, you know, as if their protection sort of is their spirituality, or their spirituality affords them is there, is present, and sort of guarding over this person. On moon. And it's a little bit like, you know, she's got her head, she's in this sort of prayer pose, but she has her head really turned one way. It's not turned the other way. It's not facing forward. It's sort of in this kind of, my focus is here. You know, all these concerns, all these things maybe trying to demand my attention. I need to be in this protective place where my focus can be on, you know, whatever is there when all of these concerns quiet. Because that's sort of what meditation is, I think, is it's just when everything else calms down and shuts up, then you attend to the quiet things, which can be a big relief if you can bear it. Just sit down and be quiet and wait for it. On Queen of Swords. Interesting. Eight of Swords. Well, it might be, because, I mean, Queen of Swords, like, is not one who suffers from illusions. You know, she's clear-minded. And she holds herself and other people to the standard of truth. As far as, you know, as far as it goes. Like, to the best of my ability, I'm gonna speak the truth. And I expect you to as well. It's kind of that energy. Coupled with the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords. The sword energy on the board is really challenging. Neither one is a comfortable place to be. But I think it's like Queen of Swords has clarity over the mindset that was a limit on her, limiting her somehow. She can see it. She's discerning maybe even her own, the ways in which she's limited herself. Because that's Eight of Swords. It's kind of like, maybe somebody's put me in this bind, but I've contributed to it. I've somehow capitulated. The Queen of Swords doesn't do that. So I think it's like she's seen even her own tendency to get trapped in thought. And this is pretty much thoughts about herself too. It's reflected in the mirror. So I think she's letting go of bad self-talk. It might be Swords also speak to language or communication. So how about Page of Pentacles? This offer that, yeah, somebody's bringing clarity to it. Whoa, hang on, got it. Oof. Okay, on Page of Pentacles, King of Cups. You know, the lover man, the deep feeling man, the one who could do this moon energy no problemo. It's his element. But he's inclined to go so deep, you know, to feel it so deeply as to almost get lost. Whether it's love or sadness or, you know, any of the big feelings that you know, there's a poignancy and a softness, not in the sense of a weakness or a squishiness, but just like the feelings that it's not anger, it's not jealousy, it's sort of tenderness, tender-hearted. So it's a heartfelt love offer is what it looks like. A tangible offer. And it might not be spoken yet. That's sort of weird, that because Page of Pentacles usually means like a face-to-face. Well, let's see. Okay, on Nine of Swords, Four of Swords, this anxious Nine of Swords energy of being stressed out and up in your head is being healed. And I'd say has been healed, except I think healing is sort of the ongoing process. But this is somebody, remember I said I don't think he's talking yet? I don't think he's talking yet. This is it's a card of not being able to communicate yet because I'm busy doing this, healing whatever wound. Or the bad communication. But not talking, maybe, but feeling it for sure. And let's see about the offer. I don't know. That may come clearer in the clarifying lovers, please. I just needed to make sure it was worth bending over for. Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, it is. This is first? Yeah, okay. On Lovers, Emperor. Emperor sort of took a dive, but there he is, in all his, her, their glory. It's the principle of the action taker, the confident one, the one who knows what to do, not only for himself, but for kind of the people in his realm, the people within his reach. No, he's responsible. Emperor on Lovers, wow. Well, in this case, Emperor's also all the kings. So he's, wow, all the kings. He's aspecting here as King of Hearts. You know, Emperor Lovers sort of implies his match, Empress. But of all the kings, because he's all of them, this is the one that's coming to the fore. The open-hearted aspect of himself. Himself, herself, theirselves. Okay. Okay. First out was a Hierophant in this deck, and I like this depiction and interpretation. It's sort of higher self. It's the person who's received some kind of, well, they've been a channel. We were talking about channeling. They're channeling the big energy, the big chi, the one that connects us all. And it isn't the somber, sort of steadfast quality of traditional Hierophant. It's a person just in an ecstasy, and a t-shirt, you know, like he shows his connection to the higher thing, to his higher power, to our higher power, in a way that is expressed by joy, not by sort of the heaviness of a duty, you know, to adhere to, you know, whatever. This is like the direct line. It's the divination. It's the direct line. It's the direct. We've had Moon, which is sort of the hidden, still hidden thing, that somebody's protecting, Seven of Wands. Here's the Sun. Here's the revealed thing. It's also the yin-yang of lovers. You know, in some symbolism, Sun is masculine, Moon is feminine. But this is the thing coming to light. You know, we have the Moon, the subconscious thing. This is now, it's risen. You know, we can see it. I mean, it's source energy, and sure as anything, this guy has seen the light. It's such a cliche, but look at his, you know, his insides have been so lit up, and what he gets is, I'm lit up by the source, but I am, you know, the syntax that says the source is one thing and I'm another, you know, is about the limitations of our language, really, because there's some level in which we are both source and channeler. You know, I don't know how really to put it. It's like a bit of a, but he knows what it is. And it's not something you can easily go, blah, 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 this is it. You know, you sort of have to tap into it yourself. Another meaning of sun, sort of the self. And the third out was Page of Cups, which I love. Started with Page of Pentacles, ends with Page of Cups. And I think we've had that opener and closer fairly recently. I mean, we've got these two very big cards of Major Arcana, channeling source energy, the sun energy, the happiness, revelation. And then this sort of little, it's like it's like a little please. You know, please let this be real. Please join me here. Please, you know, and it's a little bit, it's elevating this person to make this offer. And I can't quite, you know, why his feet aren't on the ground. I mean, his feet aren't on the ground. You know, dude, and his hair is like whipped into the upward ascension of himself. We had that the other day with the Tower card. This isn't Tower, this is like being uplifted. See his hair? It's like he's in the updraft of this, of the sweetness of this offer, which is backed up by Hierophant's sun. You know, it's like the, I don't know a good analogy for that. It's like this, you know, the big, glorious, kind of those paintings of the sunset with the clouds and the whatnot, and then, and the punctuation mark is like the little tender, it's very lovely. It's a lovely, because it's so big and so expansive, and it's embodied, that whole Lovers, Emperor, King of Cups, this whole, even the big stuff, Hierophant's sun, fits into this little offer. You know, it's like this little thump of the heart, this little hearing the heartbeat. Perhaps of this one. Because it's being pretty loud here. So I don't think I can break down all the nuances of what's what, but there is a forward moving direction in the direction of love. The Emperor is operating in his most loving, feeling aspect and making an offer based on that, having sort of healed his King of Swords, it would be, not on the board, but this sword anxiety. He's healed it. Has not been talking for a while. But he's back. It's like, seriously. He's a presence. It's a card of Aries, I believe. It's funny though, I've never noticed. It looks like he's sitting, well, I guess it's a planet. And I think he's ruled by Mars, I'm not sure. It looked like a beanbag chair though. But he's very he could pull off a beanbag chair. Emperor on Lovers. And it may be because Moon can also be secrets. So somebody might be sort of protecting their secrets, their deep emotion that they don't quite fully understand yet. So they're like assuming this sort of going into this kind of meditative bubble to try to allow this thing to come to consciousness. I like that. That makes sense to me. And Queen of Swords sort of is the conscious one, the discerning mental energy, discerning clear, not muddled Queen of Swords, not muddled. And one of the things that she'd be able to discern is the ways in which she's been trapped in perhaps in roles, or has submitted to other people's expectations. She's seen that. And I'd say she's got the clear vision now, based on this sort of meditation on the deep feelings of which way to go. The mapping and the going, and being pulled in the direction of love. She knows which way now. And I don't know, but there's a card of this sweet, this is like the kernel, the sweet thing at the heart of it, This is also a card of a higher level of commitment. Can be a card of marriage. Doesn't have to be. I mean, this is not, in traditional Rider-Waite, Hierophant has that sort of the sanction of the church element. I don't think this is about that at all. If it's marriage in the sense of I make this small gesture, namaste, that we're both source light. We both are, and we both are tapping into source light. It's like an amplifier, sort of. Your light makes me bright, I shine brighter because of that kind of thing. Like amplifies it. Just really nice, and I like it that it begins with Page of Pentacles and ends with Page of Cups. It's like there's something so poignant about the small gesture at the beginning and the small gesture at the end, and in the middle just this magnificent healing, finding your direction, choosing each other, coming into balance, but the little kind of at either end. I don't think I've described that very well, but it gives a lightness and a freshness that is really, there are the sort of parentheses around this kind of pretty hard-hitting reading. Sun, Moon, Hierophant, Emperor. It's not like these are hard-hitting, but with this lovely bing bing on either end. So here's looking at you. Oh, and I wanted to say, I wanted to thank, I got some feedback on the introductions I had asked, you know, what's your thought about blah 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 blah, and got some really lovely, supportive feedback on that. So I appreciate it, and for all your comments, I really do. I like it when you talk back, and I just wanted also to thank all the subscribers. You know, it means a lot to me, and yeah, if you would care to join, hit the subscribe button. It's free. It just helps grow the channel, and there's something to do with this. You know, as we get stronger, the channel opens wider. I'm not sure how that works, but that it works, I believe. All right, folks, I'll see you soon.